Ranjani Shivaswamy, and I'm here with one question for Porus Munshi. I've admired Porus's work ever since I read his book, Making Breakthrough Innovations Happen. He's been shifting mindsets, helping organizations create those breakthroughs, and inspired people to leapfrog their performance by 10 times. He challenged his own mindset when he decided that he would work only 5 to 6 days in a month while doubling his income. He now has time to work on social initiatives, practice martial arts, and spend time with family. At the core of such transformational change lies a mind that can think differently and innovatively. Boris, my question to you is, what is that frame of mind from which we can be our innovative best?
What a lovely question, Ranjani, and what a tough one. So, similarly, frame of mind to be an innovative best. Now, it's very strange that you asked that because very often people come up to me and say, Porus, I'm not very innovative. I don't get very good ideas, and I'll never be able to do that. As a matter of fact, in organizations when I work, sometimes I ask people to, in a group of say 30 people, I ask them to tell me how many of you are good at innovation, raise your hands. And not more than 3 or 4, 10% raise their hands, and that too very tentatively. But when I ask the same group of people, how many of you are good at problem solving? Instantly, the whole room lifts its hands up very, very enthusiastically. Everybody is great at problem solving, but nobody or very few believe that they're good at innovation. So somewhere I think the clue lies over there. If you can solve problems at a large enough scale, you are going to be innovative. So the first mindset, I think the only mindset I'm going to speak about today is that don't seek ideas, instead create blocks. Because a problem is just a block. It blocks you from doing something and you have to solve that problem. Take my personal example. You spoke about 5 to 6 days a month. And how did that happen? It happened because I was working about 28 to 30 days a month and 18 hours a day. And I wanted to make a shift, but I didn't know how to make a shift and what to shift to. So I was seeking out ideas, really, if you will. But then I decided to create a block. I decided to create a problem for myself, and that was a block. And the block was that I would work only 5 to 6 days a month and 2 times my income, double my income. That part is important because if I decide to work only 5 to 6 days a month, that's very easy. If I'm going to accept an income that is that much lesser. So the innovation comes through when you work lesser but do much more. So that was my block. And just because of that problem and solving that block, I now find that my life has completely transformed. So it works in personal life. Don't seek out ideas, seek out blocks. Create the blocks. Like in government, I was working with a government organization. And these folks they needed compliance from citizens. And the compliance rate for their filings was only about 60%. So they wanted to increase the compliance rate from 60% to about 70, 80%. But and the way they were usually getting compliance is to keep sending reminders, keep sending alerts, putting advertisements, and of course, with a threat of punishment. You know how the government works. So the punishment threat was always there. But they were never able to cross 60%, and they wanted to find a way of getting 70%. Now, 70% is not really great because you will do more or less of the same and manage to squeeze along. So I decided to create a block, create a problem for them. So I said that let's not go for 70%, let's go for the maximum possible, 100%. So how would you create compliance for 100%? So everybody who deals with you has to comply. And 100% isn't percentage. Every single individual has to comply. Now suddenly it was very, very different. So they went back and they came back in with nothing about 30, 40 minutes with ideas. And they said, if it's 100%, the existing will not get us over there. We have to think differently. So they said that, we're already collecting a lot of the data from the users. All the information that we require is already with us. And why are we asking them to give additional to reframe that data and file it? We can actually extract that information from that and create a system which automatically does the filing for us. And that would give them 200% compliance rates. So that's being rolled out now and it's working very, very well. Take large scale social challenges. One of the biggest problems that we face in terms of healthcare is that every 10 minutes, two people die of undiagnosed anemia every day. Because it's very, very difficult to diagnose anemia. You need a blood test, you need to be careful how you draw the blood, and especially in rural India, you have to transport that blood to a clinic or a diagnostic center about 100 kilometers away. But then two guys decided to make a shift. And they said that, if drawing of blood is such a big, laborious process, and that's what people are dying of anemia, let's create a block. Not in so many words, but let's create a block. Let's do a blood test for anemia and hemoglobin without blood. Now that was a block. How do I do a blood test without blood? So they hit upon the idea of having a device that you attach to your finger, and 3 wavelengths of light go through that device. And depending on how that light is refracted, you're able to make out the amount of hemoglobin in blood. Fantastically simple, but it didn't happen anywhere in the world until a block was created. So they created a block towards a critical component. What is must for a blood test? Blood. So they did away with that, and they found a solution to that. That is large-scale social problems. Let's look at business. A couple of years ago, I was working with an organization, and a major part of its challenge was setting up factories and plants for expansion. And the biggest pain point was it would take about 40 months to set up a factory end to end, or a plant end to end. So can we do it in less time? They said, yeah, we can try for 36 months, we can try 32 months. 36 would be good, 32 would be excellent. But then that's hardly a block. So let's make it 4 months, from 40 months to 4 months. And 4 months, that's impossible. That's the idea of a block. Let's find a way. So they went, ideated, and came back and said, yes, they had to challenge every dimension of the factory setup that they had taken for granted. And when they came back, they had ideas on the paper for setting up a plant in 4 months. So that was on paper. And when they actually implemented it, it took about 9 months. So 4 months on paper, 9 months on the ground. And compared to 40 months to 9 months, it was a wow for them. So really it works in almost any dimension. It works in personal life, it works in government, it works in social challenges, it works in business. Don't seek ideas, instead create smart blocks. When you create the blocks, you get your sense of the frame of mind that's able to innovate anytime, anywhere.